Hi, my name is Annie, and welcome to the Walking Word, where we go through the Holy Bible in a year as part of discipling. We are currently reading the book of Judges. We are in Judges chapter 19. The Levite from Ephraim. This is how his story goes. At that time, when there were no kings in Israel, there was a Levite residing in the remote parts of the mountain region of Ephraim who had taken for himself a concubine from Bethlehem of Judah. His concubine was unfaithful to him and left him for her father's house in Bethlehem of Judah. Okay. So this Levite, this man of God, had a side chick. And this side chick finally chooses to leave him and go back home to her father. Okay. Okay. So where she stayed for some 4 months. So she went to stay with her dad for about 4 months. Verse 3. Her husband then set out with his servant and a pair of asses and went after her to forgive her and take her back. Okay? So this Levite has a concubine, and now he's chosen to forgive her for being unfaithful to him. Man. I'm already laughing at this story because I know how it ends. But, and so now chooses to go look for her to forgive her, a concubine. And listen what scripture calls him. Her husband then set out with his servant and a pair of asses and went after her to forgive her and take her back. Her husband. And this is just a warning for those perhaps, and guidance, that when you live a life of fornication, you're just piling husband on top of husband. You're piling wife on top of wife in the spirit, because that's how, because you've entered into that sexual covenant in the spirit. Whoever you sleep with is considered your wife. Whoever you sleep with is considered your husband. Okay, her husband set out with his servant and a pair of asses and went after her to forgive her and take her back. Okay. She brought him into her father's house. And on seeing him, the girl's father joyfully made him welcome. Okay. So those parents who entertain polygamy. He was detained by the girl's father, so he spent 3 days with this father-in-law, because perhaps he has many father-in-laws. He was detained. Holy Scripture, you always get me each time. He was detained by the girl's father, and so he spent 3 days with this particular father-in-law, meaning he has other fathers-in-law, in his with eating and drinking and passing the night there. So they're hanging out. On the 4th day, they rose early in the morning, and he prepared to go. But the girl's father said to his son-in-law, "Fortify yourself with a little food. You can go later on. Come, have a meal. Leave after lunchtime. Leave after breakfast," or something like that. So they stayed, and the 2 men ate and drank together. Then the girl's father said to the husband, "Why not decide to spend the night here and enjoy yourself again?" The man still made a move to go, but when his father-in-law pressed him, he went back and spent the night there. When bondage keeps on calling, and you're like, okay, well, should I leave? Should I? Yeah. When you're in communities that foster your bad behavior, that encourage your bad behavior. Verse 8, on the 5th morning, he rose early to depart, okay? But the girl's father said, "Fortify yourself and tarry until afternoon." Okay. When he and his father-in-law had eaten, And the husband was ready to go with his concubine and servant. The girl's father said to him, "It is already growing dusk. Stay for the night. See, the day is coming to an end. Spend the night here and enjoy yourselves. Early tomorrow morning, early tomorrow you can start your journey home." The man, however, refused to stay another night. He and his concubine set out with a pair of saddle asses and traveled till they came opposite Jebus, which is Jerusalem. Since they were near Jebus, with the day far gone, the servant said to his master, "Come, let us turn off to the city of the Jebusites and spend the night in it." But his master said to him, "We will not turn off to a city of foreigners who are not Israelites, but we will go on to Gibeah." "Come," he said to his servants, "let us make for some other place, either Gibeah or Ramah, and spend the night there amongst our own tribe." Okay, makes sense. So they continued on their way till the sun set on them when they were abreast of Gibeah of Benjamin. There they turned off to enter Gibeah for the night. The man waited in the public square of the city he had entered, but no one offered them shelter of his home for the night. Okay, so there's no place to stay. In the evening, however, an old man came from his work in the field. He was from the mountain region of Ephraim, though he lived among the Benjamite townspeople in Gibeah. When he noticed the traveler in the public square of the city, the old man asked where he was going and where he had come from. He said to him, "We are traveling from Bethlehem of Judah, far up in the mountain region of Ephraim, where I belong. I have been to Bethlehem of Judah and now I'm going back home. But no one has offered us a shelter of his house. We have straw and fodder for our asses, and bread and wine for the woman and myself and for our servant. There is nothing else we need, just a place to lay our head. We have our own food. Our animals have their own food. We are sorted. We just need a place to lay our head for the night." Okay. "You're welcome," the old man said to him, "but let me provide for you all your needs, and do not spend the night in the public square." So a public square, you can imagine, is a place where the city meets. It's CBD, basically. It's CBD. So a central business district, let me explain that. So he led them to his house and provided fodder for the asses. So central business district is the name used in mostly Anglophone countries and those that were colonized by Britain. But when you move to more American, Europe, this would be equal to saying downtown. Yeah, so where business is happening, where a lot of meetings are happening, and just this hustle and bustle. That's what the public square was. So he led them to his house and provided fodder for their asses. Then they washed their feet and ate and drank. Okay. While they were enjoying themselves, the men of the city who were corrupt, mm, 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 who were corrupt. Now, Gibeah, remember Gibeah, as much as Israelites lived there, there were some people from the initial inhabitants. And God had warned them, if you don't clear these people up, they'll become a snare to you. They'll still bring wickedness upon you. So there was some form of wickedness still happening in Gibeah. While they were enjoying themselves, the men of the city who were corrupt surrounded the house and beat on the door. They said to the old man whose house it was, "Bring out your guests that we may abuse him." Does this sound familiar? The story of Lot. "Bring him out that we may abuse him." The owner of the house went out to them and said, "No, my brothers, do not be so wicked. Since this man is my guest, do not commit this crime. Rather, let me bring out my maiden daughter or his concubine. Ravish them or do whatever you want with them. But against the man, you must not commit this wanton crime." So you can really tell these men were so wicked, they wanted to have sexual relations with this Levite who is in this man's house. Sounds familiar? Sounds very familiar to the Lot story. And when the angels came and the wickedness of the men came to bring the angels out, wanting to have sex with them, it's happening again. But this time it's not angels, it's this Levite, to just show a man consecrated to the Lord. Ravish them. So this old man is saying, okay, take my daughter. I have a daughter. She's a maiden. So that means she's untouched. But also the man's concubine is here. You can have these women. When the man would not listen to his host, the husband seized this Levite priest, this Levite man, seized his concubine and thrust her outside to them. Can you imagine? The same woman whom you came from your place said you're going to forgive her. You're going to take her from her father's house. She's returned to her father's house. And you've said you've forgiven her. And now you're returning back home with her. You seize her. I can imagine her just seizing her by her clothes or by her hair and pushing her out to these wicked men. Hey. And thrust her outside to them. They had relations with her and abused her all night until the following dawn, when they finally let her go. So basically what they're saying, they sexually abused her the entire night, raping her the entire night until dawn, and is when they released her and allowed her to go. When the husband rose that day and opened the door of the house to start out again on his journey, like this guy is waking up to thinking life will be as good and dandy as yesterday. So he's woken up ready, spruced up, let's go. After what you've already done to the woman you say you love and you came back to take. Then at daybreak, we've concluded they had relations with her and abused her all night until the following dawn, when they let her go. Then at daybreak, the woman came and collapsed at the entrance of the house in which her husband was a guest, where she lay until the morning. Verse 27. At daybreak, she came and just collapsed at the entrance of that gate. She's tired of life. She is so tired of being broken. She is so tired and she just falls, finally gives in. When her husband rose the next day and opened the door of the house to start out, like his mind is fixed on the journey, to start out again on his journey, there lay the woman, his concubine, the one the scripture calls his wife, at the entrance of the house with her hands on the threshold. Like she's trying to make it into the house. She can't. She's holding the entrance of the house. She's just collapsed there, holding the threshold. He said to her, "Come, let us go." She's collapsed on the floor, holding on to something for dear life, and tells her, "Come, ebu tuende, let's go. Like, get yourself together. Let's go. Can you wake up? Why are you crying? So what if they defiled you the whole night? So what if they abused you the whole night? Can you wake up? Let's go." But there was no answer. The audacity. So the man placed her on an ass and started out again for home. Nothing, no remorse, no, "Honey, are you okay?" No, "Darling, did anything happen?" No, "Please talk to me." No, "I am sorry I sent you to the devil's den." Nothing. Just took up her lifeless body, placed it on the ass, and took off. And started off for home. On reaching home, he took a knife to the body of his concubine, cut her into 12 pieces, and sent them throughout the territory of Israel, Everyone who saw this said, nothing like this has been done or seen from the day the Israelites came up from the land of Egypt to this day. Take note of it and state what you propose to do. Number one, let me just speak about the woman. These are women who have been second in life all their life. You chose to be a second wife. You chose to be a concubine. You chose to just live a reckless life, perhaps. You chose to live against all the laws of God. And God gave you a way out. You returned back to the house of your father. And there you lived for 4 months. God took you out of the dungeon and allowed you to live, to be in a secure place in your father's house. But when that past life, this dangerous Levite, this evil Levite came, your old life came back knocking, you welcomed this evil person, this evil habit, this evil thing back into your father's house. And now even the people around you who once said, okay, come here, heal here with us. Now even they are entertaining the madness coming back. There are people who will entertain your madness. Even when they know you need to heal, they'll still entertain it. And you become worse off. When this evil person finally takes you, this evil habit takes you again, it will be worse for you than before. Previously, you were just a concubine. Now you are slaughtered, you are ashamed, you are torn apart, you are abused and left for dead. When God rescues you, run. Never look back. Run, 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 run. Never look back. Because the next chance you give the enemy, he will drag you through the mud in ways you would never have thought or ever imagined. That was a heavy story. Let's finish off today with chapter 20, when the Israelites assemble.